Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Hindu newspapers Delhi analysis. And let's quickly get done with today's newspaper analysis. Okay, so Hemant Soren wins trust vote. BJP MLAs walk out of the house. Fine. So this is about the controversy that was taking place in Jharkhand, if you remember, right? So Jharkhand CM was accused of violating the norm of office of profit. This office of profit is actually a ground for disqualification. Ground for disqualification that is derived from Representation of People's Act 1951. Okay. Now, what is this? Office of profit is basically, as the name suggests, that a legislator, it's basically for the legislator actually. So the chief minister is also a legislator. So the legislator indulging in something that results in him gaining profit, him acquiring an office from where he can earn a profit or he is earning some benefit out of it. Fine. When this office of profit or this charge has been levied, then what happens in that regard? Who decides that a particular person is to be disqualified or not? So the norm is that if it is an MP, then it is the president, and if it is the MLAs, then in that case it will be the governor. So president and governor on the recommendations of the Election Commission of India. So Election Commission of India will investigate if there is a violation of the norm of office of profit, and then they will send their recommendation to the president in case of MP, and in case of MLA they will send it to the governor, and it is for them to take a call. Fine. So office of profit, and I feel we can prepare a question, mains based question on the same lines, very important from the point of view of GS2. Fine. There is an editorial also, but I'm not going into this. All I wanted to discuss was the issue of office of profit. In fact, I haven't told you as such what really is office of profit. For that, we'll do it separately. UK's next PM. So who will be the UK's next PM? So we know that there was a contention going on between the leaders of the Conservative Party, Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss. So Liz Truss has won the votes of a political party, Conservative Party, and she will be the next Prime Minister of United Kingdom. Next, heavy rain batters IT parks, arterial roads in Bangalore. So what are we talking about? The issue of urban floods and what needs to be done. What are the reasons responsible for it? We should have a note ready for this. And we have everything on our channel IASPrimers. So you can just type urban floods space IASPrimers without space. So just type that, you'll get all the notes in a video form. Okay, let's move forward. More. This is very interesting. This is in the states page. Probe charges against the Chief Minister of Assam. Kong urges CBI. Find that CBI should investigate and something wrong that has been done by the Chief Minister Sarma, right? Hemant Biswa Sarma. I'm not reading the article. We're not required to also. So what is this? So one of the charges that has been levied by the opposition, which is the opposition, the Congress, is that the Chief Minister has shifted the elephant corridor to save wife's tea estate. Fine. So elephant corridor was there, so that route has been changed to safeguard his wife's tea estate. Some issue of conflict of interest. Now, what I was thinking was, can't we take this up from ethics perspective? GS4 case study. It can be taken up. Imagine a hypothetical situation. There is a chief minister. Now, in this case, tea estate.Maybe UPSC will use some other expression. Right? Why make it so obvious also? So let's say you were the district magistrate or a forest official under whose charge this decision was to be taken about the elephant corridor. Now, somebody powerful in the state, somebody powerful in the administration wants you to change the route, to change the elephant corridor to benefit a particular political leader who is in power. Right now, if you offend this person, obviously there will be action against you. You may be bullied, so you'll be framed under false charges, whatever, some hypothetical thing. So in this situation, what course of action would you take? So one is this, or otherwise, what are the options before you? What will you do about this? State with merits and demerits. Which is the best action, or which is the best option before you justify? So this is how a case study can be asked, and mind you, this is how UPSC, most of the case studies are framed. You can check the past years also. Okay, let's move forward. So we are interested in this now. Lingyat, Stair of Lingyat much founded. Not in the news. We are interested in Lingyat, which is important for your prelims as well as mains. So art and culture point of view. So Lingyat, or the role played by the founder of the Lingyat movement, that is Baswa. Right, so we should have basic details of the Lingyat from pre-perspective as well as the mains perspective. We should have a note ready for this. Okay, so actually this is it. And you can see, if you look at the news part also, there is a lot of controversy around it. The Lingyat sect, why Hindu and why not Hindu? So something or the other keeps taking place. So it's very important with reference to Karnataka's state politics. Okay, so this was the editorial. Not really interested, but yes, one issue that this article does raise is, we heard about the office of profit issue, that is violation of office of profit by the the BJP party over there had raised the office of profit allegation against Hemant Soren, who was the chief minister. Okay, so the governor has to take a stand on this. So the governor has been quiet. The governor has been not very vocal about it initially. Then later he was not. And after this, I don't know what will happen after the ruling party, the ruling group has been able to prove their majority. So this thing is actually raising concerns over the role of governor, right? So the role of governor is a very important theme. Discretionary powers of the governor is very important from the mains perspective. Yeah, car-related accidents. Remember, I mean, unfortunately, we have an incident that took place recently with reference to Cyrus Mistry, the former chairperson of Tata Group. Okay. So, anyways, I mean, besides this, also we had a lot of facts that had come in the news with reference to road accidents, if you can recall. Now I feel, and in fact, if we add to this, besides fact, the Indian Express paper had also written an article with reference to the socio-economic dimensions of road accidents. Right. Okay. So this part is basically telling us about what should be done with reference to road accidents, how that can be sorted out. And one of the key recommendations is use of seat belts. So there is one here and then one in the explained section. Now, what I was thinking was, we can have a question on this thing, road accidents. We can look at it from the point of view of GS1 also, socio, right? So GS1 also we can look at it. What is the government doing? GS2, governance point of view. Okay, now what can, so you get it. We should have facts associated with road accidents. You can find it on the Insta page. I have taken a screenshot and I've saved it over there. Socio-economic dimension. Most of the accidents that take place are of the youthful population, right? Youthful population, loss of life, loss of the impact on the family, right? So we can look at it from that point of view. Now, what needs to be done? Seatbelt is one thing. Seatbelt. Speed limit, having a speed limit and enforcing that has to be done. Now, what beside this? we have highlighted some points over here overall, which have been there in the news previously also. So yeah, we have to work on vehicle safety and gap rating, 5-star rating, if you can recall. Make this mandatory across all segments. For the base variant of the car, those features are not there, but only for the upper end cars, it is there. So make this mandatory, right? Life is important for everyone. So that should be made important. There should be better regulations on the vehicle safety front. More stringent regulations should be there. Then many accidents take place along blind spots. So correction of blind spots by road re-engineering. So roads that have been engineered, but there are some faults with that road, because of which it's more accident prone. Certain roads are more accident prone. Why is that? There is some defect with that road. This needs to be identified and the roads need to be re-engineered so that they are safer. Potholes, etc. So that should be addressed. Then public awareness. Vehicle safety, the people have to focus on the vehicle safety. We need public awareness. People have to wear the seat belt and speed limit, right? So that's for the people also to do it. So public awareness should be encouraged on that regard. Okay, public health need not be led by doctors alone. Fine. Okay. So I'm not doing this entirely, right? Yes, we can break up this topic into multiple parts, like public health, what are the issues with the public health. But this article is merely talking about who will be leading this thing, right? And recently a notification had come from the government, from the center, that an MBBS degree is a must. And there has been concern that when we talk about public health, we are actually excluding the grassroots public health workers, ASHA, etc., ASHA workers, etc., right? So those are the people who are actually going in the field, going from door to door campaigns and conducting the government initiatives, etc. So those grassroots workers should be involved as well. Okay. Now when we look at the issue of public health, we have to make a distinction between public health and public healthcare sector. Public healthcare sector would include hospitals, etc., right? Hospital, surgery, medicine, etc. Public health is a much wider construct, and that would include, according to the author, the 4 A's is academics. I'm just writing it down. I believe it will be difficult for you to read. Academics, activism, to bring about a change, to bring about a reform. We need this, we need that, we need more budgetary allocation. Activism is required for that. So activism, we can side by side, we can talk about advocacy for a change, advocate a change, advocate a reform. Advocacy is required. Then administration, right? So these are also elements that should be added and in the public health realm, and these people should also have a stake in leading the public healthcare sector. Besides, this is also saying that the author is also saying that there should be an MD in community medicine and a 2-year master's in public health. So the public health, the initiative of public health should not be led merely by MBBS or somebody who is a cardiologist or etc., orthopedic, etc. But people who are trained in this domain, they should also be involved, and we should also look at the academic aspects also. So this training should be provided in that regard. There is some special elements besides medical healthcare that should be incorporated. Okay, next is funding in public education. And the focus here is actually on higher education. I think I would have shared something on Telegram, right? So on public education. So yeah, some facts on this thing. And this is important also. Public education, again, education to society, and GS2, what is the government doing with this regard? Right. So let us see. So first of all, this starts with a statement from the Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan, who said in one of the debates in Lok Sabha that the idea that the universities must be funded only by the government, people should forget about that. People should let go of that. Right? It should not be funded only by the government. The private sector, private enterprise should also step in. So there should be contribution of the private sector, industry, and also, so this can come by seeking donations, etc. And also, as we can look at it, like recently some reforms with reference to IIT, IIM, etc. So students paying for the education. So students paying for this education. So that can also be taken up. Now I'm taking a flexibility over here. The problem arises with this regard is that when we talk about higher education, and with this argument of only the government, when we talk about higher education, the government's outlay, the money that the government is spending is very, very less. The new education policy had recommended that in overall, in public education, the public expenditure should be 6% of the GDP. Typically, when this recommendation is given, whatever is recommended, we are at the half level. So 2 to 3% of GDP. Right? That is what we are spending. And if we look at the expenditure done on higher education, so according to a Kothari Commission that was in 1968, and the 6% thing has been going on since the Kothari Commission. So Kothari Commission had said that in higher education, the outlay should be 2% of the GDP. So please keep in mind 6% for overall public education, and of this 2% should be for higher education. Where are we on that front? We are at 0.52% in 2019-2020. From 0.86% it has fallen to 0.52% in higher education. And higher education in the country is heavily dependent on private enterprise. Their private enterprise or students paying for this education. Right? So the government is also encouraging this. We can see this. The minister is saying only we should let go of the idea that the universities must be funded only by the government. If private enterprises there, it will lead to better utilization of resources. So better resource mobilization, revenue generation will be focused upon. Value for money. I am investing so much money. So what is the return I'm getting? Private sector will look at it. The government will not really think about it because it's taxpayers' money. Okay. Cross-subsidization, resource use efficiency, cost reduction, and accelerated cost recovery. So whatever they are spending, they want to get a return on investment of their money. Right, that is the idea. Basic thing, but the thing is that the government is already spending very, very less in a country. And those people who are, if you look at the composition of people who are benefiting out of higher education, it's basically people who can afford the fees. And higher education is very expensive. And representation of the people, if you look at the representation, it's mostly the elite group who's been able to get admissions into the higher education. They are able to get it very, very easily. Now, if we want to double the enrollment, as the new education policy says, if we want to double the enrollment of students in the higher education, then elites are already getting enrolled. We have to look at the disadvantaged groups who will find it difficult to pay money, to pay the fees. And we should not forget that 62.5% of a country is still dependent on the free ration to save themselves from destitution. So there is poverty, there is difficulty in having your food itself, able to afford your food, and talking about higher education. So the government needs to spend more on higher education, at least this much. And this is nothing if we compare it with other economies, even comparable ones. We are way behind this. Okay, so Serena Williams retires. Some facts about her. I mean, it's just for sports enthusiasts. Okay, news in numbers. I really like this. Okay. The number of teachers received National Teachers Award this year, 46. Okay, nobody will ask you this. 46. One National Teachers Award. So what is this National Teachers Award? Who is giving that award? This is important for the exam point of view. Right, so National Teachers Award. Yeah, so it's coming from Ministry of Education, right? So Ministry of Education is doing it, and we have the eligibility criteria also. So you should have a mind, you should keep an eye on the eligibility criteria for the statement-based questions that are asked in the pre-exam. Right, so primary, middle, higher school. So in fact, you can actually read for yourself. I can share it in the Telegram. Or you can actually find it. You know how I searched for it. Okay. European Union aids Ukraine. Okay. Let me just tell you what all things they have done. Because, you know, if you look at education reforms, if you look at the issue of dropout rates, so we should consider some points from here. We can take this. So what are the initiatives? Why these teachers were given teacher award? Some of the points have been mentioned. So one is maths rangoli to teach shape, right? So maths based rangoli, okay, so to teach shapes. Then elements of periodic table as roll number. So periodic table as roll number. Periodic table as roll number. Then no punishment to students, bagless day. So these are some of the interesting teaching learning practices, right? So these are some of the things. Okay. Next we have the service sector growth. So this is based on the PMI this thing, and basically saying that we are expected to do well, right? We'll do it in the economy section. Then we're talking about the measles outbreak. This is in Zimbabwe. So we should know about the measles. Measles is a disease that is caused by a viral infection. Okay, seat belts, head restraints. This is the head restraints and safety regulations. The ban on conversion therapy for the LGBTQ minus LGBTQIA plus community. What is this conversion therapy? You know, people, obviously, anatomically speaking, I am a man and there is a female, or male or a female. So anatomically we are made like this. But some, obviously, there come people who are born male, but they would identify themselves as transgenders or female, or vice versa. So, you know, the parents, etc., they indulge in this kind of conversion therapy so that they are realigned with the anatomy with which they were born, right? They don't identify themselves with any other gender. So this conversion therapy for the LGBTQ community has been banned. So this is coming from the directive of the National Medical Commission, which should be a statutory body, right? It is the apex regulatory body for medical professionals in India. Okay, so this is not allowed. What all things are being done to convert? Psychiatric treatment, drugs, exorcism. I'm not pronouncing it correctly, I think. Yeah, this is to ward off evil spirit. So this term is used for that, with the aim being to make the individual a heterosexual. The conversion therapy umbrella also includes efforts to change the core identity of youth whose identity is incongruent with their sex anatomy. So same thing that I explained over here. Let's quickly, yeah, I keep saying this is for you only to do this, right? So yeah, this thing we had done earlier, this we have done. Teesta delay holding up Hilsa fish supply. Wow. So Hilsa fish, where is it found? What is this? Okay, so prelims. Facts on water, power, defense likely as Hasina arrives in Delhi. She is the Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, right? And her party is known as the Awami League. And this Awami League is seen to be close to India. And then there is this Bangladesh Nationalist Party that is in the opposition, pro-Pakistan. Okay, so what is she coming for? And it's very easy. Facts on water. Which water? Teesta. Power. India's money, power, hydel projects or whatever. Supply of electricity. Defense. What is this defense? Why India and Bangladesh in defense this thing? So basically they are looking at, when we look at defense, it is basically looking at logistics, right? They're looking at logistics over here. Logistics for moving the soldiers from, obviously from India to the northeastern side of India. Basically that's the logic. Okay, and we can also look at the Kushiara River near this thing. The Kushiara River and Teesta. Okay, let's quickly do it only. It is a distributed river in Bangladesh and Assam. It forms on the India-Bangladesh border as a branch of the Barak River. Right, so I think this is sufficient. So this is important for your prelims. And Teesta also we can have a look. Map. Right, so basically West Bengal has a problem with this thing. It's coming from the northern side, Sikkim side, part of West Bengal, and then it flows into Bangladesh. Now let's see Hilsa fish also. Right, so fish that is being loved to death. So we can have a look at this. Okay, so let's move on. SC asks if hijab can be allowed in school. Okay, so this was in April this year itself, April 2022, we had this controversy, big controversy on the issue of hijab in Karnataka. So this thing has again come up in Supreme Court, right? Supreme Court is asking, and how I see it is that it's a dress code. So we can look at it from this thing, dress code, freedom of religion, Article 25, and the freedom to wear your dress. So from that point of view in school, so we can look at it this point of view. So GS2 Constitution, this can be taken up. Besides, we can also talk about the Uniform Civil Code. We can relate it with this also. Yeah, so let's quickly, I think more of political news. If I even just scroll, if you'll get an idea. Center seeks time for decision on students who fled Ukraine. Okay. Preventive detentions rose in 2021. All we want is preventive detention. Again, this is important for your GS2. We'll prepare this separately for the mains paper, right? Okay, so this is it. This is some international section. So Chileans reject overhaul of constitution. So you see, you should be thankful that in our country, whatever constitution is made, that consistency is there, but other places, the thing is not happening. What is the reason for this? So you should read this chapter, working of the Indian constitution also. Okay. Plus inherits an economy that is headed for recession. Fine. Sri Lanka won't accept external processes on war accountability. Fine. Okay. China's Z to visit Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, obviously SCO summit. Services PMI flags rebound in August. So services PMI. What is this PMI? Keep doing this. Purchase Managers Index is issued by IHS Market for India. So this is a not-for-profit initiative, right? So it basically says that it is going to do well in next August, in this coming August. Banks healthy enough to brave foreign headwinds, says the RBI governor. Europe heading for recession as cost of living crisis deepens. Inflation is increasing for us. We can expect a Fed hike like thing, or European Central Bank increasing the rate. When this happens, we expect an outflow of money from our country. Right, so this basically concludes our analysis. So this is it from my side. Thank you for streaming in to our channel, IASPrimers. Bye-bye.